All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Ladies House of Wonderlow. And as you can see, I have my sisters with me this evening. We have a show in store for you, and I'm hoping that everybody that tunes in will enjoy it, that you will get something from it, that will bless your spirit, that will bless your heart. I did not watch the news today, and I did not watch the news today on purpose because, like I was sharing with them a little bit earlier, I'm getting to the place where it's very hard for me to be able to deal with some of the stuff that we're seeing in the news and some of the stories. So we're not going to even talk about that today. We're going to kind of move on and open the show and get on to some other stuff. But I do want to say happy belated birthday to one of my panelists, Marilyn Clark. I hope that you had a wonderful day yesterday, that you look so beautiful, girl. So happy
Mhm.
birthday to you. Thank you all, ladies, for coming on tonight. I appreciate you. Anytime I've asked you to participate or do anything, you all have been ready to do so. So I appreciate that. So everybody that's watching tonight, let me give you the housekeeping rules and let me give you the lowdown on the show. So I don't know which episode this is. We've been on Facebook Live now for almost 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. But just want you to go to the page. The page is the Lady Found Wonderlow on Facebook. Like our page, share our posts, like our videos, watch them, share those videos also. You can also see us on Instagram. We have a page, same name, the Lady Found on Instagram. I mean, the Lady Found Wonderlow on Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's a brand new thing that I'm working on. And I'll tell you now, when you go over there, it's not real fancy just yet because I hadn't learned how to do everything on it. But I do want you to become a subscriber. So if you're not able to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and watch the show live, you can always go back on my page on Facebook and watch the show. You can also go back and watch us on YouTube. So please do those two things for me. Also, if you ever share our post or you share one of our videos, please do a hashtag the Lady Sounds Wonderlow. I'm trying to get that to trend. Don't know why. It's a Facebook algorithm I'm working on. So if you can, please always share the post or share the show coming on with hashtag the Ladies of Wonderlove. So that was my short and sweet intro. Go grab you something to drink, get comfortable, join in the conversation. If you'd like to make any comments or ask any questions, go over in the comment section and type away. We'll try to get the questions answered while we're on the air and participate in the conversation. This isn't by no means just something that the six of us can talk about or cover. If you want to get into the conversation, go ahead and post that comment. We appreciate it. So, without further ado, I want my guests to introduce themselves tonight. Now I would do it, but I like folks to kind of toot their own horn sometimes and blow your own whistle just a little bit. Say whatever you want to say. Now don't say nothing nasty. But if you want to, you can. I promise not to bleep you. I won't. So we'll go ahead and we'll start. Miss Brown, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Marilyn Clark, and I know a couple of people on here, and I am retired after 20 something years at the American Heart Association as an outreach director. And in this day and age we're in right now, I'm mighty glad I'm retired.
Yes.
Miss
And
Brown?
uh, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sandra Tate, and I am the executive director and the co founder of Arkansas Coalition of Outreach Professionals. And I am currently in the office. I have gotten out of this office because I was about to go crazy due to COVID-19. So I had to go into the office. And so I've been active in the community. If you all see me, I've been giving out care packages, toiletries to different entities.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Dr. Flowers? There you go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Theresa Flowers. I am a licensed clinical social worker here in Little Rock, Arkansas, the owner of Seed of Faith Counseling and Services. And I also wear a number of hats, hospital social worker, work as a consultant for a federal program here. And yeah, I do a lot. I work a lot.
Okay. Miss Rachel?
Okay, I had kind of lost everybody. Rachel Hawkins Luckett. I am currently, licensed minister. in the AME church, back in the AME church where I grew up. And I work for UAPB North Little Rock. I also recruit for our campus and our main campus, and I also do extension, nutrition, education to community organizations. Currently working on my doctorate, health policy, chapter 3. Yay! Trying to get through, trying to get finished, but just do quite a bit. Mentor people, mentor ladies, men, young men. Just encourage them to continue on. Yeah.
Mr. June.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me say I am so honored just to be in the lounge tonight with such awesome women. I'm among the best. My name is June DeWanna Joseph. I am a professional educator / teacher. I'm a single mother. I have a ministry entitled Lifting and Loving Ministries, where my sole goal and purpose is to empower, encourage, and enhance the lives of women.
Right.
Everyone needs lifting, and they can use a lot of loving, especially in times like these. I like being a servant, I love volunteering in the community, and I love being a single mother to my beautiful girls.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you again so much. I appreciate you all taking some time out tonight to kind of spend with me and just to kind of talk. Like I said before the show, one of the reasons I want to have a show like this is because there is so much stuff going on, and so many people are hurting. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are alone. We talked about a lot of people maybe experiencing anxiety and depression, and we just need to check in with each other. You know, there's a saying about being my brother's keeper. Well, we have to be our sister's keepers also. So we have to make sure that we're checking in on each other, that we're calling, that we're texting. You know, I won't say go back because a lot of folks are not going to let you in the house right now, which is understandable. But, you know, we have to get to a place where we are checking in and just having those conversations so that if you do have something going on and you need a listening ear, you do need a shoulder or something, that, now, Rachel, I got you muted because I see you moving around. So tell me when you just put your hand up when you get ready. So if you have, you know, have things that are going on and you just want to share, then that's okay. So we kind of got a couple of different topics we're going to cover tonight, and we'll just kind of jump in and have a conversation. And I said earlier, act like we're just sitting around a table at lunch and we just yabbering like we do, because that's what women do. We talk about everything. So let's just kind of start off. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, how is the pandemic affecting folks mentally? You know, Sandra said something earlier about having to get out of the home office and going to the office, and I totally agree. By being home alone during the daytime by yourself, get out and get to the office, just move around and be around people. So, kind of talk about each of y'all's experience with having to get out and move around and not being alone.
Well, one thing wonder, I do want to say I wasn't home alone. My husband is a retired disabled veteran, and I have a 2-year-old college student here, a junior. So I needed to get away from them and the TV, and it was just that morning. I said I'm moving back into my office, and he was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yes, all of this, moving back." I needed that because I was watching CNN, I was watching news, and it was getting to my personal. It was intervening who I was as a person. It was taken away from me, and so I needed to get out. So just one great morning, I was like, "I'm leaving. I'm going. Please help me. Everybody help." And so that's what we did. I needed it for my mental, just to get out, to be around people, even though it's only 2-3 people in my office, that's fine for me. We're not close together. That was okay for me. And I just needed that other, because I know my husband's going to be here. I know my son is going to be here, but I needed to not be here. Just some days. I mean, some days are fine. And I mean, I've been married 20 plus years, but some days are fine, but not every day is okay.
I said, okay, then look, I'm
Yeah.
24, okay, but look, I need some time away from y'all.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
totally understandable. That is totally understandable because it's just like I can remember growing up when my he retired. My dad retired, and my mom was already at home. And I would come home from school, and she would be running in other rooms. I'm like, "What did you do?" She said, "I got to get away from him. I can't stand him. I need him to go back to work. I need him to find something to do. He's in my face."
Right.
I
Right.
do understand. I understand that. Ladies, what's some other things that you're dealing with as far as being able to move around or get out and kind of stretch?
For me, being single
Mm-hmm.
and also working in mental health. So I work at Job Corps a few days a week, and I also work at the hospital every other weekend, Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was that was beginning to take a toll. Um, the stuff that people see on the news, especially involving children, I
Mm-hmm.
usually see that firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, along with constantly staying updated on the numbers and the changes of that, I had to take a stance for myself that if I can go to work and put myself in these situations where I can potentially be exposed, I'm at higher risk of being exposed due to the environments, even though we take all precautions with the personal protection equipment. The hospital has been amazing with providing that stuff for us, but
Mm-hmm.
you're still at a higher risk just because the potential for exposure. So I have a lot of other single friends. So we've all kind of taken the stance that we're going to work. So we use common sense, but we have had small get togethers where people, and we've all encouraged each other, go do the free testing and things of that nature. Um, just to socialize, because when you live by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
like it's only so much TV you could watch. It's cool to FaceTime people, but I'm a social worker, so they tell you something about me. I'm a very social person. I'm used to hanging out with people and things of that nature. So, and I travel a lot. Like I missed out on like 6 trips that I had pre-planned
Mm-hmm.
before COVID. And so in the process of that, of trying to figure out, okay, what are some things that I can do that won't put me at high risk, but that allows me to get my needs met so that I can really relax and let my hair down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of been the stance for me. And mental health wise, like I had to resigned from one of my positions just due to the sheer amount of stress and everything going on. My mental health has been impacted via COVID due to intaking other people's stuff. And
Yeah.
then also dealing with some personal losses during this time and not having the time to fully process because I had to
Mm-hmm.
hold space for other people.
Yeah.
So it's been really, really important that I take time for myself and um, use common sense, wash my hands, wear my mask, keep a mask.
Mm-hmm.
I keep boxes of masks in the car now and things of that nature. But it's been different because I live by myself. I'm like, I'll be in here talking to myself if I don't find somebody to talk to and find something to do.
And it works.
I'm glad
I talk to myself a lot, Miss Clark. I do. And I said if somebody was to hear me, they would be like, because I'm like, yeah, what we doing today? What we
you.
gotta do? What we
Now,
and so
Hey, Wanda, you
earlier, I was doing the same thing, and then I started answering myself. I was like, okay, wait a minute. I need to
I
get
answer myself too. My friends laugh, and people it's gotten to the point where if somebody's around and I start doing it, they go, "You not talking to me. You talking to yourself." Yes, I am. I'll include you in just a minute, but it's a processing thing for me
Yeah.
to filter through. I live by myself, so I don't have anybody to go, "Hey, what you think about this?" So sometimes saying it out loud
Mm-hmm.
is helpful to
Mhm.
process versus just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I talk to myself as well. I've done that all along. I used to do it at work, and they'd go, "You're talking to yourself?" Yes, I'm thinking. Leave me alone. And
Thank
actually,
you. It's
research
not just me.
shows. I've read some things that says that people who talk to themselves are actually smarter.
Smart. We
And I
are.
agree with that. That's why I'm a freaking
Yeah,
genius fan.
yeah. But I wanted to say that during this pandemic, back in right before the 4th of July, we lost our brother.
Mhm.
and he lived in Akron, Ohio. And so one of my sisters, right before the 4th of July. Oh, what happened? I'm getting feedback. What happened to my thing? Anyway, we weren't gonna go to his services. We were just gonna stream
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
watch. And so then I was sitting here crying,
Mhm.
and I called my sister. I said, "You know what? We've got to take the risk." So somebody said they've got to take the risk because you just can't. I mean, you just can't stay in a bubble. And
Mhm.
so we went because we needed to be with our family,
Yeah.
and and see our brother. And so we took that risk, and we masked up and got enough hand sanitizer for the whole world and did what we had to do. Because it is hard to sit here. It gets boring.
Mhm.
Not only do you talk to yourself, you get so bored and you can only watch so much TV. I heard my
Yeah.
husband back there the other day. Yeah, I'm so tired of watching TV. And so I laugh because I feel the same way.
I have watched pretty much every Netflix thing it is to watch, and I understand. So, and trying to
Mm-hmm.
do hobbies and trying to make stuff and write and build, and it's something else. So, Rachel, since you've been quiet, come on
Okay.
in. Come on
One,
in.
one of the things I found myself doing is a lot of self-reflection. I found myself journaling
Mhm.
consistently, kind of getting those mental thoughts down on paper,
Mhm.
out of the mind. Some of the journaling included reflecting on the past, looking forward to the future, um, uh, things, visions and
Mhm.
stuff, that maybe would drop in your spirit. Like, I want to do that. Because if you don't write it down, you forget it.
Sure.
That's been one of the things I've done. Also, I've started an exercise routine,
Mhm.
walking, just simply walking, 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 and just kind of getting out of the house and walking, getting some fresh air, getting some vitamin D. That's been really, really good, and I've continued it. So
Mhm.
that's been really good. And also, on the flip side of that, I found myself cooking excessively and eating excessively. So kind of had to cut down on eating, snacking and eating and cooking, from
Mhm.
the bed to the kitchen, being stationary. That's
Yeah.
why I had to get out and start walking, because you find yourself picking on the pounds and not good. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things during the pandemic, kind of just improving
Yeah.
self-maintenance, if you will. And it's been really good, really
Mhm. I like that. That's a good outlook to the journaling, particularly.
good.
I did a show a couple weeks ago about writing during the pandemic and how when we get out of this, everybody is going to have a story. I don't
Mhm.
care what it is. Everybody is going to have a story. So that journaling piece right now, that is huge because later on, that can become income. That's a book. That's a book
Yes.
waiting to be purchased. So
Yes.
you're on the track for it. So
Absolutely.
Sister Girl, what's been going on with you?
Well, I just want to say that, well, I'd heard Sister Marilyn say that she lost her brother. I lost my mother right at the beginning of the pandemic on April 3rd.
Mhm.
Mm,
And so, truly been a very, very rough road for me. Not gonna sugarcoat it because that was
Mhm.
my lady. And the year before that, my grandmother, right at a year, she actually passed today. We buried my grandmother.
Mhm.
And so,
mm,
again, a lot of self-reflecting. I am an only child. I have a lot of first, second, a lot of cousins, family. I do have my children now, fiance, and so it's very trying to be that person that you said was strong, and so thank God that we know that even the stronger person
Mhm.
need to be checked on, and
Mhm.
so I thank God for those that God has surrounded to check on me, because it is some days, and
Mhm.
Wanda just happened to just hit me up today, and it was a rough morning. And so for me, I have to stay busy. Like
Mhm.
I I had that time to myself, but I can't like stay too not busy because
Mhm.
it just then my mind goes back to that whole week because it was very unexpected. And so that story will come out later. So, but so I'm just thanking God daily. As one of my friends told me today, that it's really just a moment at a time. You know, we heard that song one day at a time, but it's a moment at a time. But I have beautiful children, and so and I just thank God for the strength that they poured into me, you know, and I have to reflect on that because one thing I do reflect on when I do talk about it is that a month or so before she passed, she rededicated her life at Gates Chapel AME Church in Crosset, and I actually was the main speaker, was the Women's Day speaker that day. And so to see her come down that aisle and redo her life over and had started doing things differently because I had told her, "You gotta do something different." So now I gotta do something different than just waking up, you know what I mean? And so that's why she told her when her mom passed. So now I'm trying to tell myself, that, you gotta do something different, than just sitting here waking up and whatever. So
Yep.
that's kinda where I'm at right now, and so, I almost thought I wasn't gonna be able to come on here, but, I know that everybody's story is always somewhere similar, and so
Mhm.
just to hear somebody else lost in this pandemic, and then to know that you couldn't go in the hospital, at least for me,
Yeah.
no one could go in the hospital. That is the most terrifying thing. But I had talked to her that Thursday night. She passed on early Friday morning, 41 AM. And I tend to wake up around that time right now.
Mhm.
But I talked to her at around at 10 at that morning and about 7 something that evening, so it's consolation knowing
Mhm.
that I know she loved me and I did everything I could to make her comfortable to stay in Crossett, Arkansas after her mom passed, and so I just thank God for just, being that, and so my father's down there now, checks on him, so, hey,
Mhm.
God is good.
Can I say something real quick to Rachel? Um, Grace, make sure you're giving yourself grace for whatever you need in this season. Um, I'm saying that to you from a place of having to remind myself.
Mhm.
Um, my nephew was killed in a car accident by a drunk driver on June 28th,
Okay.
and we buried him the weekend of the 4th of July. 15 years old.
Right.
And as a mental health professional, as a therapist,
Yeah.
my brain tells me, you know how you need to, and
Right,
life
function.
keep telling me
Mhm.
it don't work that way.
No.
Yeah.
Cause I'm an auntie mama. I don't have children. So he was like my son and we were very close. And so I'm telling you what I have to remind myself, Grace. You
Yeah.
just need to do the things you have to do for the day, but don't push yourself to listen.
Mhm.
We can only carry so much. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I, during this time, I've had to learn to tell people I'm not okay today. I'm
Right.
not. I'm
Mhm.
sad. My heart hurts.
Yep.
Um, and being the responsible one, there are things with my nephew and things from his death that I've kind of picked up and people look for me to manage,
Right.
and explaining to Black folk that getting
Mhm.
insurance money for your loved one death isn't a bad thing. I wish we would break this cycle
I
and this
go. Yeah.
thinking.
Oh
Yes.
my
And
God,
it means
yes.
nothing will replace your loved one.
No.
But at the end of the
That's
day,
rest.
that's why all of us pay for insurance. God forbid if it was one of us, I promise you nobody has a problem coming after us. And so really fighting against that and having
Mhm.
people um say some really hurtful things
Yeah.
that just
Right.
isn't true about me, knowing that I can't even grieve properly
Right.
because I'm having to deal with the business end of stuff. And
Mhm.
so I constantly have to remind myself that God's grace is sufficient for me,
Right.
that it's okay when I'm not in when the memories hit or whatever, it hit. It's hard when you on Facebook
Mhm.
with family and friends. Everybody grieve differently.
Yeah.
That's
There's
very
no
true.
set process. When we finish, I'll send little thing one of my good friends sent to me that reminded me that grief is the price that we pay for loving people.
Mm-hmm.
You
My
know,
God. Yeah.
Well,
that it's just the price that you pay when you love folks.
Mhm.
And so remembering to be kind to ourselves. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know that I've never lost a parent, and I don't even let my brain go there because I'm
Right.
like,
Mhm.
nope.
As I
You
said, I
know.
don't wish it on the best worst enemy.
No.
Hmm.
Worst is a mother and
Mhm.
death of a
Yeah.
mother or whomever you're
Yeah.
close to.
Yeah.
And
So,
so, and then even in the process of people understanding that, I kind of downplayed some of my stuff. Well, like, well, I'm just his auntie. I'm not even, but then, it
Mhm.
took other people to go,
yeah.
girl, we seen what you did with your nephew.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know you talking about fasting, praying, somebody who kept somebody
Oh,
tarrying
yeah.
with the Lord. And
Mhm.
well,
so,
you
uh,
know, since we're at lunch and dinner, let me just piggyback on
Thank you.
what Teresa said. And grace is gonna carry you through, Rachel. I lost a son, and he was 20. He died
mm,
of a drug overdose, and like Wonder, I mean, she was my colleague for probably about a year or so.
Mhm.
Never knew that I lost a son because Grace was carrying me through. And I didn't want everybody to feel sorry for me.
Right.
So my son, God blessed me with him for 20 years.
mm,
And he was, I mean, that was my best friend as well as my
Mhm.
other kids. But it's Grace will carry you, but keeping busy. I still have my mother and my father, but my son, that's
Mhm.
a whole nother hurt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, it is days that I'm not okay. It's days
Mhm.
that I see that my kids or my husband's not okay.
Mhm.
But it's okay not to be
be
okay.
okay.
Right.
Amen.
It's been 6 years. So
Mhm.
it's okay not to be okay.
Mhm.
And you don't have to explain. I didn't explain to anybody. If I was having a bad day, I don't think Wonder even knew. Because
No.
I smiled, she's seen these retainers or bracelets, whichever I had when I met her. She's seen them every time she's seen me. Because Grace was what was carrying me. Now, I can't tell you that when you get in the shower and you in the bathroom by yourself, that you're not gonna cry
Yeah.
because I'm sitting here in my office, which is his old bedroom. And
Right.
sometimes it takes that for me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But the biggest thing, let me tell you, don't ever not say her name. The biggest
Mhm.
thing is keep talking about her,
Yeah.
keep
Right.
cherishing her, keep doing the
Mhm.
things that she will want you to do.
Right.
And that will carry you on because I, I'm new on Facebook. And I was going to say this later. I watched this lady. She really grieved over her child,
Mhm.
really to a different level of grieving.
Mhm.
And that will hurt your mental, your physical,
Mhm.
and everything that's around you. And I mean, I've been dealing with this for 6 years. I'm not saying I'm a pro at it because I may get off this, segment and be like, I had a
Right.
maybe his spirit touched me or something like that. But grace, like Miss Teresa told you, yes, grace will carry you through, and you just have to not be okay when
Mhm.
when people think you should be okay.
Yeah.
November, I'm never okay, but if it was an event or something going on, I was
Mhm.
okay because keeping busy is
Mhm.
what has carried, and grace as well.
Mhm.
Right.
I like
Okay.
to say, I think it's okay for us as women
Mhm.
to not try to always be everything to everybody at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's why I
The
was there.
superwoman syndrome and the bionic woman and the Wonder Woman, they
Mhm.
don't exist. So
Nope.
Mhm.
on the other side, or flip side of that, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay to say not now.
Mhm.
It's okay to say, let me get back with you. Let me see.
Yep. My Lord.
You know, because you have to take that time to bask in the grace,
Mhm.
to grieve in
Mhm.
your own way.
Right.
In quiet a long time, it's okay. It's okay not to show up all the time. I just can't make it. I won't be able to come.
Yeah. I've done that.
Until, we just shadow and begin to love on ourselves and let God love on us in those secret, private times. And, and release. Sometimes we just need some time alone just to release.
Yeah. And I was telling them just before you guys all came on, one of my daughters called me not long ago, and she was upset, and she's married, she's got children, she works, etc., etc. And she was, Mom, I'm so tired. It feels like I got to do everything. And I said, so you're tired of being the last rung on the ladder, huh? And she was like, yes. And I said, here, every mother I've ever talked to. And of course, we do that kind of to ourselves, because I fight hard, especially when my kids were young, and I still do it now, even though they're grown. Make sure everything's okay. Make sure this is done, and they're there, and that, and that, and that, and that. And so sometimes, kind of like June was kind of saying, we got to just step back and not be everything to everybody.
Right.
Y'all making me breathe now.
Breathe. And that's the thing that sometimes we need to do. As women, like you said, sometimes we don't stop and just breathe. It is okay to not be okay. It's okay to say no. And those are things that I had to learn in the last couple of years. Now, you all know I have 4, my kids are grown. I have 4 adult kids and we have 6 grandkids. I consider myself a very good safe haven. And yes, I want to have them and have them around me because I want to teach them and I want them to know who I am. But it can be exhausting because there's 6 little people with a list of 24 people. So you have to find those times and find those ways to kind of say, you know what, I need to breathe for me. One of my sons, my youngest son, and I thank God for all 4 of my kids because they always give me something. I can talk, they can be talking to me about their problem, but some kind of way they kind of feel or solve something that I'm thinking or going through. And one of the things he told me is like, Mama, we all grown and we got our own households and we can take care of ourselves. It's time for you to take care of you. And as women and as mothers and as wives and as sisters and as aunts and as cousins and grandparents, we get so caught up in making sure that everybody around us is okay, that we're not okay. And I think I have a friend, she told me, she said, I can tell how you feeling by what you post on Facebook. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't trying to be real transparent, but okay. I can tell you post something when you need a hug. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah, because you'll post something and it'll be, in my mind when I'm posting it, it's not necessarily for me. It's because I've either talked to someone about or I've been around somebody who may have needed that. Right. So sometimes it is for me and then sometimes it's not. And I was thinking about that one day. And one of the things that I posted yesterday, I have a friend that does a page when she has affirmations. And the affirmation or the comment that I made was, I'm learning how to spend time, excuse me, that I'm spending time seeing me and being me.
Wear your mask. No, I'm just playing with you. I'm
in the room by myself.
Get that joke in.
I'm like, oh, where's my mask? But I was just thinking, now I have to spend time seeing me and being me because you've been the wife, you've been the mother, you've been all these other things, and then you're not. I can remember when I lost my name. I forgot my name. I don't know if any of you all have ever done this. Now, when I say I lost my name, it's because nobody said Wonder. My name was Mama.
Oh, yeah.
Faye. My name was Wife. My name was Vanessa's Mama. My name was Charles' Mama. My name was Greg's Mama. My name was Cheshire's Mama. I was Rosalie's daughter. I was Alan's daughter. I'm Jackie's sister. My name didn't get said to me for almost 2 or 3 years. And in the process, I forgot who Wonder was. I forgot my own name because I allowed everybody else to define who I was.
Right.
And at some point, you have to reclaim yourself. So now that it's me, I'm me again. And when you say my name now, you get me. I can answer you now. But there was a time when I couldn't answer because nobody said my name. Now look, let me stop talking. Y'all supposed to be talking. But anyway, let's transition into self-care because a lot of the underlying things that a little bit everybody talked about was self-care. So talk about some of the stuff that you do as self-care to make yourself feel better.
I love music.
I cook, but that's problematic. Do a combination of COVID, grief, and being in the house, just all of that. I've gained some weight. And I was just talking to colleagues today about, listen, something got to give. I started working out, I was walking, all that fun stuff. But grief smacked me so hard that a lot of that got shut down. And I didn't want to acknowledge that that was the reason, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I, I've been to get my nails done. I do a lot for other people. So when it comes to stuff that I can do my own nails, but I be tired. I need somebody to do something for me. Uh,
Right.
I go to the chiropractor once a week. I go to the joint chiropractor. Shout out to them because it's a set fee for the month and I get one visit. I get 4 visits a month and it's something affordable that I can do, but it's maintenance for my body so I don't get so stiff. I sit a lot for work and I carry stress in the mid of my back and I lock up. So the chiropractor is good for me. And one of the gentlemen, he's there on Monday. I can't call his name. It's a Black gentleman. If you need a chiropractor, go visit that man on Mondays. Because he's blessed. He really is. And in the midst of all that was going on, I know I went in shortly after my nephew had died and I was carrying so much. And when I tell you that man moved that stuff around, I had to release. And I was like, I got some blessed hands. So chiropractor, massage, body work is important for me, is good for me because the body keeps the score. It's a book we use in mental health and it's true. Whatever you're going through, your body carries.
Yes.
And so finding a way to release that stuff is really good for me. So, but then plants, y'all, I've become a plant mom. I'm not the best plant mom. Amen.
I was so glad people didn't send me a lot of plants because I just would have gave them all away.
I took one after the funeral and it died. I was sad. I was like, listen, I don't think that's right. I buy myself flowers every week. And I do have a plant now that's alive, and I have a plant at work that I'm trying to keep alive. So that has been helpful for me, seeing something fresh and growing. Even though with flowers, I know they're going to die in a week or two. It does something for me. My house feels different when I have them here. They add something for me. And so between that and cooking, and then like I said, I still do a little traveling. It's just been road trip stuff. But just to go see something different. I went hiking this weekend, and that was in Hot Springs to see the waterfall. It wasn't a whole lot of people out. It was free. And so, fresh air.
Let us know about that one.
We have a lot of waterfalls. We have a lot of we noticed the natural state. This state is really beautiful. Do a quick Google searches of waterfalls and stuff like that. With the fall rolling around, there will be like fruit and vegetable picking, stuff like that. Get you outdoors. It's enough space where you don't have to be under people, but the vibrant colors of nature is something that does it for me. So those have been some of the things that I've done that have been very helpful and beneficial for me as far as forms of self-care, of just focusing on what feels good to Theresa and not, oh, somebody want me to do something for them. It's what do I want to do for myself right now?
Yes.
Me being still, my pastor said this, there's 2 different types of rest. Some people need to be still for rest, and some people have to be active and in motion in some form. I'm a motion in some form. If I sit for too long, it's not good. I do find those pockets for rest because my body will shut down, but finding active forms that are not stressful are good for me. So those have been some of the things that have been helpful.
I think looking at your bucket list, those things that you always wanted to do, always wanted to see, always wanted to experience to go, and they don't have to be big things. I mean, you can find true happiness and complete joy and total fulfillment in this on the simple side of life.
Yeah.
You know, the simple side. May not even have to cost any money. It can be, reaching out to a long lost schoolmate, high school, college, calling a cousin that you hadn't been in touch with, calling relatives, just small things, just hearing somebody else's voice and reconnecting. Treating yourself to a Starbucks coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The small things. Going and buy a book, a new magazine subscription. And as Dr. Flowers stated, that mani, that pedi, that massage, just the pampering.
Mhm.
Simply pampering, rolling through Chick-fil-A, get that chocolate chip cookie.
And that good customer
The freezy, the freezy.
service.
That does for me some TCBY yogurt.
Uh-huh.
Just treating yourself, just giving yourself a reason to be treated and loving on yourself and giving yourself a reason to smile.
Yeah.
And one of the secret things, and I'll hush after this, is lifting and encouraging somebody else.
Yeah.
You can find yourself down and mentally, your mind is just perplexed and you got a lot going, trying to multitask, but just giving someone else encouragement, a kind word, a smile, or listening to them. When you get through listening to them, you think, wow, my situation is not as bad as I thought when you hear somebody else. One of the things I experienced a few weeks ago was a young lady sharing with me that her daughter had tried to commit suicide.
Mhm.
And the same night, and I, found myself just encouraging her, offering prayers and just standing in the gap with her, and I find myself, I was just humbled just to do so. So you never know when someone else's situation is worse off than yours.
That's
So that's why we gotta also find a reason just to be grateful, be thankful,
Mhm.
whatsoever state we find ourselves in, to be content, and always try to improve and be better and feel better and grow stronger, higher, be wiser.
Mhm. One of the
Well,
things I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's dealing with some well, not those, but she's dealing with some things. And one of the things I was telling her, when that mindset kicks in and you start getting depressed and your anxiety starts rising, start counting your blessings.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing that you cannot do. You cannot be sad and count blessings at the same time. It
Nope,
doesn't work.
not
You know,
possible.
you cannot. So I was like, whenever that mindset gets on you and you get in that place where things seem to be getting really dark for you, start counting your blessings and say them out loud.
Yeah.
Say them out loud. Don't just walk around and think about them. Say them out loud so that you hear yourself saying, I am blessed because of this. I am blessed because of that. And it's amazing because, like you said earlier about living alone and not having somebody to talk to, I don't live alone, but at the same time, I'm here a lot by myself. And I have to walk through the house some days and have to tell Wanda how blessed Wanda is.
That's
So
right.
we're tripping. We're just get into that, thinking about things a little too hard, which is why I said I don't watch news as much anymore because it stresses me out. When you deal with loss, you deal with all these different things we're dealing with, and the pandemic has really caused a lot of this stuff to be exacerbated. So you have people that were depressed before or with anxiety problems before, they're even worse now because you're isolated a little bit more. But walking around and talking about your blessings, walking around and counting your blessings, walking around and just some days I just don't want to do anything. And I'm having to learn that it's okay to not want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
All of us work hard. I notice in everybody gets productive, even there, everybody needs to. None of y'all have one job. If you have one job on this panel, raise your hand. Exactly. If you got three or more, raise your hand. Everybody's hand ought to be up. You even got three or more. You retired, but you got three or more. But you got grandkids. You still got kids, you got grandkids, you still got a husband. You still have more than three jobs. You can see Marilyn, you muted yourself. No, take yourself off mute. See.
Oh, I said, and I still do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
volunteering as well. So I really do have a
Yeah.
lot of things to do. And And then I was gonna
Mhm.
say, and sometimes it's just doing small things for other people.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be big fancy things. You ain't got to necessarily buy stuff for people or give them lots of money. But
Mhm.
like I was coming out Wendy's the other day, getting stuff for my grandchildren, 4 meals, had my big purse, my 4 meals for my grandkids, the little drinks, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to get out the door, and this white man broke his neck getting out the line to get over there to help me. I didn't even see him coming. I was like, "Well, thank you," and it made me feel so good that he didn't have to do that.
Mhm.
And then going out, there was a black man coming in with a cowboy mask on. I got on him for that, but
Speaking like the cowboy.
Yeah, he
and
got
then he
away.
was trying to help me. So it felt good to have people actually doing something
Yeah.
nice for somebody,
Right.
because we're living in such a unusual,
Mhm.
selfish
Selfish age.
time.
Yeah. And it is nice to go someplace and people are speaking and they're smiling and they're holding the door for you or they're helping you with stuff. And if you would go by what the news says and what the world says, it would lead you to believe that, oh my God, everybody just hates everybody, nobody's being nice, nothing is happening good. There are as many or more good things happening every day than it ever would be bad things. But we've
Hmm.
been, I think, because we're in such captivity, so to speak, with the pandemic and everything, it's easier to bombard everybody with the bad stuff. And that's
Hmm.
what you see on the news. And that's why I'm on a healthy diet of no news right now. Because you see nothing but bad stuff. And if you notice, if you watch a lot of bad stuff for too long a time, what do you start thinking? You start thinking
Bad stuff.
everything's good.
Hmm.
And you know it's not. Because think about it, when you went to the store, somebody helped you. Somebody spoke to you while you were walking through Walmart, or somebody held the door when you went in to a store someplace else, or you were at the gas station and somebody offered to pump your gas. And y'all saw my story the other day, and somebody paid my utility bill for me. Don't know who it was. Thank you, Jesus. Praise God. But I got a blessing. So things are still happening. And we
Hmm.
have to remind ourselves of that because if we don't, we fall into that darkness of thinking, oh my God, everything is just horrible. We're trapped in the house. We can't go nowhere. People killing everybody. That's not really what's happening. That's what's being focused on, but that's not really what's happening.
Well, I haven't heard nobody say music. I love music. I love to electric slide and do all that. Yes, even the minister loves to
And
dance.
So,
Um,
Best minister.
so, and I used to be a dancer, so my kids taking over, but they
Mhm,
laugh at me when they come out and I'm dancing or whatever. But that
mhm,
uplifts me, and that's me and my mom used to just hang out and just dance in the back room, and
mhm.
so she has this thing say, turn it around." So we just so sometimes I
Just
could just
as
hear
you want.
so, I
Just-
love that, and then he had start collect the stage had was going out of business on this time,
mhm,
and so started collecting candles, and they had different names on the candle, and I'm like, "I don't know why I'm buying all these candles." It was like $2 so there's one of them had motivation focus, one of them say, I got this." I mean, it had different things, and one says, confirmation or clarification,
mhm.
one says, grace, some just had different things, and so whatever I feel in that or whatever I need, I like that candle, and so that's what I've been doing.
good.
That's good. That's a good idea to find those things that inspire you and
Hmm.
surround yourself with those things that inspire you.
And then I
What?
also tell people that if they do wanna work out and they wanna go outside, they can put on their music, dance to about 4 to 5 songs, that's already 20 minutes gone,
Mhm.
and so you got your exercise in.
Thank you. 'Cause I have to
So
start doing it. I have pandemic cake pounds and cookie pounds and tea cake pounds and cheesecake pounds.
Yeah. One thing June said, oh, one thing June said, and
Mhm.
Sandra, you spoke to this. I'm gonna reach out to you after this. Is about the giving piece. So it's something I was already naturally doing, but it's been at a different level, and God reminded me that sometimes I don't only have to be the person. Sometimes I'm just the vessel. Other people will contribute.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just need to say something. And at the beginning of this pandemic, I remember having an encounter with a group of unhoused individuals downtown while I was walking. And we had a really good conversation, and we were talking about what needs that they have. And they were telling me about the mask and stuff. I posted on Facebook. and so many people were like, "What you need? What you need? We
Mhm.
got you."
Mhm.
And we were able to do bags for like 20 or 30 people downtown. And so that's been continuing with the support of other people. I've been looking for people to partner with to do this because I've kind of just been doing it on my own. So, yes,
Mhm.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm reaching out to you.
We're already ready. I have 30 bags ready to go with
Wow.
I'm
toiletries.
doing stuff tomorrow. One of my colleagues is going to come with me to my office after work. I have all the supplies, and people have been amazing. My sister friend Bianca is in Japan, and
Mhm.
she have sent me toiletries from her travels. She sent me. I had a big box from Amazon at my door, and I was like, "Who this from?" People don't know where I live, and it
That's
was
awesome.
her. And she had sent me feminine hygiene products for women.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
so I make packages for men and women, but I keep them in my car and I've been giving them to other people. But the more I've said stuff to other people, they be like, "Oh, I be thinking about that. I just won't do it. What you need?"
Mhm.
And I'll give you the money or I'll buy it for you. And
Mm,
so even last night, there's a gate around where I live. I live in a central location, and I pulled up at home, and this guy was getting out of my car. He walked back by the gate, and he was like, "Excuse me, ma'am," but he caught me off guard, and
Mhm.
he was like, "I'm hungry." I was like, "Lord, you know I'm sleepy, but that's okay. What you want to eat?"
yeah.
Mhm.
What you want is a few places that if I don't do nothing else, I may not give you no money, but I'll make sure you eat. I'm not gonna let
Mhm.
you be hungry. If you really hungry, I'll make sure you got some food. And
Yeah.
so that has been something during this pandemic for sure that if I'm driving and I see people and they tell me, "Hey, I'm hungry," or "I need some water," I'll take that extra time. And
Mhm.
for me, it's just a reminder that I haven't missed anything in this
Right.
pandemic. I have, when I tell you abundance,
Mhm.
and so that's been the reminder that as I give, as I receive, I need to continue to give because I am a river. Things flow through me.
All
Uh,
right.
I don't get to be a dam where everything stops when
Exactly.
it gets to me. It needs to flow. So thanks for mentioning that, Miss Joan. It is uh, definitely a different feeling when you think about how things could be
Yeah.
during this time versus, not that it makes anything less hard. What's hard is hard for you,
Mhm.
but it
Hmm.
gives you a different perspective of the level of what could be hard
Mhm.
if you didn't have. I couldn't imagine not having somewhere to live and having some of the basic comforts that I have that we
Mhm.
often take for granted, and
Mhm.
Hmm.
especially during this time. And we're going to see more of it, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because of the evictions in Arkansas being one of the worst states in the
Oh,
country
yeah.
Yeah.
for renters and things of that nature. So definitely, I'm excited, Miss Sandra, because I was like, "Oh yeah," when you started talking, I was like, "Mm-hmm, I got to
Okay.
And I pick it back off of Dr. Flowers. Like you
Uh-huh.
made me remind myself of I reached out to a couple people. God had led me when a friend of mine's son had a stroke during this time, and he's pretty young. I think right at 40, something like that. And so they needed a. And so when I reached out to certain people that God told me to reach out to, people, Cash App. One lady said, "Well, how much is her light bill?" And paid 2 months up.
praise God."
Then
Mhm.
another friend I went to college with, he brought her a bed, king size bed. I mean, delivered it, and I mean, so like you say, you still have to do ministry, do people as God lead us. And so
Mhm.
when you shared that, that made me think of what, God still allow us to do even in our tough times or or during a pandemic. And truly, like you say, really been blessed, overflowed, I'm also working with Shorter College with the inmates, they're getting degrees through Shorter
Mm,
College. So I'm the one of the professors there this semester, and so we just had to put our package together, sit it down there, and so it's just been a blessing, So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and I generally give to the food bank every month because I knew that when this hit that was going to
it
happen.
happened.
But
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
now I'm wondering, no, I still want to do because food, not having having no food is not an option. You die if you can't eat. But Miss Tate,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
kind of like to know a little bit more about what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you can't do it now, maybe separately about what
Mhm.
you do.
Okay. Yeah, we got about 5 minutes or so. So before we get
Yeah.
off, I want each one of you all to kind of give some inspiration because we've actually talked about more stuff than y'all think we have. We've covered quite a few things. But give some inspiration as to, what are you going to do going forward? Because I hear a lot of giving. I hear everybody talking about giving and doing. But what's some inspiration that you can offer tonight to the folks that are listening to kind of help them through this time? So whoever wants to go first can go, and then everybody just answer that question, and we should be at time like about it. So I got to talk. Okay, everybody, everyone.
That I would give. I'll go first. I'll go first.
Okay.
The inspiration that I would give is just be true to yourself and make sure you take care of self before you take care of others. But don't forget that others are existing. We have people that are homeless living in tents that I didn't know about until I learned today. And so just be there, be aware and be patient. I mean, everything is not gonna come
Mm-hmm.
all at once. Be patient, and that's the biggest thing with a group. We're patient because we know things are gonna come.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
My inspiration would be always pray that uh, the perfect will of God will be done in our lives. Um, and as we pray for His will, we must be mindful to guard our ear gates and our eye gates. Fix it quick, forgive quickly. Life is short. Don't sweat the small stuff. Um, uh, Live with the end in mind. Um, give joy. Give a smile. Hold no grudges. No hatred. No
Mm-hmm.
animosity. Fix it.
Well, just name it
Live
big,
free,
June.
ma'am.
I said,
Live
just name
free.
it all. Name it big. Yeah. I just want to say, some of you guys know me personally, and one that knows that I have kind of a snapback if you cross it the wrong way. So I have to check my attitude sometimes. So I think as a society, many of us need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to take our own attitudes. We know there's a lot out there that's not right, but we
Mm-hmm.
still need to kind of step back, take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
and think about things a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
I would like to say, take this time and learn to honor yourself. It is something I have been practicing for the past year of listening to my body
Mm-hmm.
and believing myself. When I feel tired, I say I'm tired. Whatever I need, I've been learning to honor myself. Because what I have found is that in those moments when I need to be still, I feel the sense to be still is usually because God is needing to speak to me. And if I get busy and stay busy with other people's stuff, and like you said, learning how to say no, saying not right now, let me think about it, I'll get back to you, or just no. But learning to honor myself and be kind to myself. I think that because of some of the negative things we've heard, it's been presented as being strong. I dispute that with people now. I'm not strong. I'm human. I'm a whole being. I'm a full being. I get to feel all my emotions. You don't get to put me in a box. So I
Right.
correct people often. And so I encourage people to do that because as much as we stand in the gap for other people, we
Mm-hmm.
need to learn how to stand in the gap and love on ourselves. We teach people how to treat us, and sometimes we don't treat us well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
learning to do that is what I would encourage people to kind of focus on. It's okay to look outward, but sometimes you got to look inward. God said, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." So that means you got
Right.
to
You
start with
gotta love
self
yourself.
first. How
Right.
you gonna love somebody else and you don't love yourself?
Love
So work
yourself.
on that self love. That's important. It's a balance. The one thing I've heard throughout all of this is you got to have some balance.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sister Rachel.
My candle says balance. See?
Hey, this alignment come through alignment.
Hey. Well, y'all kind of diddled everything. But I can say that when you done, because of my experience, I'm speaking from my experience. And so when you done all you can from family, friends, loved ones, whoever, when you done your part, it's good. And if it's good here, me and him, then I'm good. And so you can only do so much in apologizing and loving, and you love them. But until at the end of the day, I had to just, okay, Rachel, you done everything. You done called, you done text, you done everything. And so for anybody that has dealt with that, that you just have to know that God is pleased with what you've done. And so, and you just keep loving, you keep living, and you keep laughing. And so, like as we was talking, and I got that joke in on Wanda, and then I had to remember my mother. If you go back on my page and just scroll down back until April, May, you'll see a beautiful outside. Uh, yeah, thank you. A beautiful outside service that my cousins, and they had the mics. It was just beautiful. Uh, and so I just pick it back on that and just keep loving yourself, living and laughing. Like you say, fix it, and what you can't fix,
Right.
you gave that to God, and it's all good. Because every day I said, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit
Absolutely.
within me. And so that's what I would leave to my sisters and brothers that's watching and that's going to watch. You know, love thy neighbor as thyself. He said, self care, love, and keep on loving.
Amen,
Smiling.
amen, amen, amen. All of that. Y'all, I
Amen.
so
And
appreciate
dance.
y'all.
Get your groove on.
Get your groove on. I so appreciate all five of y'all so much for coming on tonight and giving us this time. I appreciate the inspiration. I hope that if you're watching or you're listening, that you enjoyed all of that because, you know, like I said in the beginning, one of the reasons I want to do this type of show was because we have so much, we carry so much as women, and we need to have a release every once in a while. So I appreciate you all coming on and being transparent and sharing some of the losses, sharing some of the things that you're dealing with. And I hope that by doing this, that it helps some other women to feel like they can have those conversations also. Now, we didn't get into as much stuff as I wanted to, but I'm glad we got into what we did. Because I feel
What we needed.
it's what we needed. Exactly. We said what we needed to say. So I do appreciate that. So if you're watching for the first time, make sure that you go back and watch this video from the beginning. You can find all my videos on my page on Facebook, and it's the Ladies Lounge for Wonderlow. You can also check out some of the posts on Instagram, same page, the Ladies Lounge Wonderlow, and you can also catch us on YouTube. So go out and subscribe to YouTube. Come and like our page, share our videos, watch them. Go back and watch some of the older videos just to see what kind of shows we've been doing and some of the topics that we've covered. Again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I so appreciate you, ladies. I love each and every one of you. Your beautiful faces. And I got my picture on the sun side. Everybody was all bright and smiling. So I'm so glad that again that you all were able to come on, that we had this conversation tonight. So from here on out, you all connect with each other because the giving thing and setting things up, that's what we do. And count me in. I'll be the worker, whatever y'all want me to do. So make sure that we stay in contact and that we check in with each other from time to time. And any other ladies that are watching, if you'd like to become a guest and have, because we're going to do another sister. We're going to start doing these kind of on a regular basis because there's too much going on for us not to. So if there's ladies that are watching that would like to join in our next show, please get in contact with me. And you can email me at the ladieslounge1050@gmail.com. And I will make sure that I respond to your email. So anyway, we've kind of gone over time tonight, but I think it was worth every minute of it, so I don't care. And it's free. So and if you all just hang on for a minute, but everybody else, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time here for another episode of the Ladies House of Wonderlow. I'm your host, and I'll see you next week. Thanks and bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Y'all have a good time. Bye.